Farmer's Garage back here. Today we're going to talk about a couple of good ways to save some big money on your summertime air conditioning. One of them is some preventative maintenance. One of them, well, a couple of them are some quick and easy repairs that are probably the most overcharged imaginable in the industry. Some as quick as 15-20 minutes if you've already got some basic parts on hand, and that's what we're going to talk about, which parts you might need, how quick and easy they are to accomplish. This unit is a Concord. I think it was a 13 SEER. I'm not seeing it on the tag. Yeah, I guess that's mostly about the refrigerant compressor and whatnot, but I think this was like a 13 SEER at the time. I've had it for about 10 years, so sometime 2013, late 2014, I guess. Late 2013 into 2014, I suppose. I think we've had that. An important thing to remember on these units is that many of the parts, despite mine being a Concord in name, many of the main components are pretty standardized and oftentimes used in a lot of units. You know, there's fan motor, just below the top of the cover there, and then the compressor inside. It's mostly hollow. I would imagine that the company that makes the actual coils inside here, there's probably just a few companies that make those, and basically these things are just a box that a company like Concord puts together, slaps their label on it, and uses like a GE fan motor and a Copeland brand compressor or something. But they don't manufacture many of the components that go in these, including the two most notorious to leave you sweating in the middle of summer, waiting on an AC guy, only to charge you $300 to $500 for about a half hour's work. So we're going to get into how you can save that money. One of the first things I recommend is find your service disconnect. My cover actually pops off, and you'll find this 2 fingers pull, and this kills the electricity completely, which is 220 to these, oftentimes 30 amp. Mine is a 30 amp unit, so what this is just a couple of fuses there, and it makes contact with your home power to the wires that bring it out here. So one of the very first things you can have go wrong is these. Now, this would not be something that would be like common, but these are relatively inexpensive to keep a pair on hand. Doubtful you would lose them both at the same time, but I would recommend probably just having 2. And you can continuity test these to see if they're still good. But if your AC or condenser outside is not kicking on, this is one of the first and easiest things that you can check. Alright, once you're disconnected, a great way to save money every month on your electricity bill, and I guess really preserve and prolong the life of your equipment, is cleaning. These things work like a filter. This fan blows air up and pulls in through these really fine coils, and if you go out to your unit and you look close, you'll see dust and dirt built up in those fins. And for all of that dust and dirt, your unit is working hard to try to pull air through there, because the refrigerant flows through coils in here, and that's how it loses the heat. That's why the air coming out of this top will always be hotter than the ambient temperature outside. It's pulling air across these coils. That air, the heat and the refrigerant is being lost to that air and coming up out of the top. But for all other purposes, these fins act like a filter, pulling in pollutants, pollens, dust, grass clippings, fuzzies, all sorts of things, and lead to restricted airflow, meaning your equipment's working a lot harder. Now, before we get into actually cleaning and making a mess, how this would be cleaned, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple ways to save big money on really easy DIY repairs, get you up and running in no time flat. And first step in that is to remove this cover. It's just a 1/4 inch nut driver. I have 2 screws, one there, one around the back here. When you pop your cover off, what you'll find is there's kind of 2 ugly components in here, and this is called the contactor, which actually uses this small wire, which comes from the circuit board on your furnace, ultimately coming from your thermostat. And that little wire is just a signal wire, and it tells this guy to turn on by making him into an electromagnet. And basically what that does is it takes the 2 big wires coming from the house and connects them to the big wires that run the unit. Ultimately, this is nothing more than a switch that's remotely controlled by a much smaller wire from the furnace. So you've got all this power, this big wire out here ready to turn on at any moment, and that signal wire says turn on, and here's the guy who turns it on. He's the switch. Anyway, these can go bad. The coil in them, the electromagnet, they can get stuck. There's a lot going on. But you can get the part number off of this. In my case is right there, HCC-1X, whatever. But recommend checking yours out. These are like 20 bucks. And even if you're not sure, you could come out, kill your power, just replace that with your new one that you hopefully order in advance and have on hand, and it may fix your unit for you. What you'll find there is that if your contactor's bad, I don't think you'll have either the fan or the compressor. Yeah, pretty sure you will not have your fan at all. You'll have nothing. Now, the other major component that can leave you sweating is the capacitor here. These are like 20-25 bucks. These guys will kill you for $300-$400 to come out and pop this cover off and pop one of these in. Again, want to reiterate, do not touch these contacts, even with the power off. These hold on to power, a lot of voltage. That's their purpose. When your contactor kicks on and tells your compressor to kick on, and the blower or the fan motor, anyway, that's 2 motors kicking on at the same time, and this is an extra boost of juice to give them a little kick start together to get going. But there's mine. Mine's a 40+5 UF, and if you look that up, you will find one on Amazon, like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. Brands don't really matter that much. Anything should get you up and running. I would buy the least expensive one you can find. Should get you up and running. You can, if you end up having to use it, you can poke around and find a better quality one, if you will. I'm sure they're all made in the same place. But, replace it again if needed. But if you're going to have some parts just sitting there, it may as well not cost you a whole bunch. But those 2 things right there. When your capacitor is out, you have to be very careful to listen. Your fan may be running, but you won't hear the louder motor noise usually coming from down low. So if your air's not coming out cold and you think that this thing's running because you hear it making noise outside, you need to get outside and listen and make sure it's not just the fan. If the compressor is not running, that would just be your capacitor. If nothing is turning on, likely it's your contactor. But it gets a little more technical from there, and I don't want to oversimplify this, but these are 2 very common things that take people out in the summer. So I wanted to cover them. You can have a break in your signal wire, and that starts to get into multimeters and more complex things that anyone can DIY, just not something I plan to go into today. I just want to cover these basics, a couple safety things, a couple easy repairs, save you $300-400 bucks, easy. In most cases, if your unit is not very old, or you've already been keeping up on this, you can simply use your garden hose on your most powerful pointed setting and just blast, in this case at an angle of the grill fins here. Obviously if you aim straight at them, you just hit the grill, but if you go at an angle, you can hit those fins, and you kind of want to start at the top and work your way down, almost combing or brushing the fins with the powerful stream of water. Don't use a pressure washer. You don't want to really touch these fins. They're super fragile. You don't want to be closing them up. Mine are in pretty good shape because I know not to touch them. There's a, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. See if we can get up here a little higher. I got a little spot there. It's kind of crushed. I'm not sure what that'd be from. I've never touched this outside of these. Might have been from original manufacturing, but basically you just want to work your way all the way around, kind of just dragging all the dust and dirt down to the bottom. Now, to a degree, it can push dirt further inward. Mine I keep up on, so, and I'm pretty good at keeping a nice downward angle on the water to, you know, really prevent pushing it straight inward. But you can also go around and remove the top row of screws here, and that will release this top cover holding the fan motor, so you need to be careful. If you know for certain you want to take this off, first thing you want to do is pick up this corner above your electrical and see if you have a plug or a disconnect for the fan motor. You may actually have to go to the contactor and follow those wires from the fan or this upper part. Follow them down to the contactor and remove them so that you can free it. I'm going to just lift mine up. I don't plan on cleaning the inside today, but it exposes the fins and the inside here. Let's see if we can get a good, yeah, got some leaves. Maybe next year a good clean is in order again. But you can see the fins, and what you can do is, one-handed here, if you go ahead and remove the cover, you can use your hose from the inside and really blast from the inside out all the way around, up and down, and it will really clean those fins out. And without that dust, you know, these things need to give up heat rapidly to work efficiently, and when they're clean is when they work best. See that dirt just falling. Clean. Dirty. Just a good stream of water. Angle it down. Take all the dirt down to the bottom. One of these days when you pop your cover off and do a deeper clean, maybe you can grab whatever's down there. I haven't worried about it for probably a couple of years now, but I think come spring next year we'll do another cover off clean and go from the inside on that one. But wanted to add about the damaged fins. They make a comb for these that you can buy. If you do plan to take yours apart, I would have that on hand, and you can just gently get it between the fins and just comb straight down, and it will straighten them back out. I don't have enough spots bad enough to worry about it yet. All cleaned up. Gonna pop my service disconnect back in. I did not turn off my thermostat, so this thing is likely going to turn on immediately. So be prepared for that. Or you can go in and make sure to turn off your thermostat, put it in the off position if you don't want to have to worry about it. This isn't so much power that it's going to arc and hurt you per se, but you certainly don't want to lick your finger and stick it in there on the wrong side because it won't feel real good. Off and running. Sounds good, looks good, nice and clean. Save some money. 4Boys out.